In the late 1800s, American cities were growing faster than ever before. Factories, railroads, and new businesses were pulling people into urban centers, and land in city downtowns was becoming incredibly valuable. The question was simple but revolutionary. How do you build higher without collapsing? The answer would forever change America's skyline. The story begins in Chicago, a city rebuilding itself after the devastating Great Chicago Fire of 1871. Entire blocks had burned to the ground, but the disaster created an opportunity to rethink how buildings were designed. Architects and engineers were determined to make structures that were safer, taller, and more efficient than anything the world had seen. At the center of this transformation was William LeBaron Jenney, an American engineer trained in both architecture and engineering. In 1884, Jenney was hired to design a building for the home insurance company. What he created would quietly become the world's first skyscraper. Completed in 1885, the home insurance building stood only 10 stories tall, far shorter than modern skyscrapers, but its importance had nothing to do with height. Instead, it was how the building stood that mattered. Unlike traditional buildings made with thick stone and brick walls that carried the building's weight, Jenney used a steel skeleton frame. This internal metal structure supported the entire building, while the outer walls became lightweight curtains rather than load-bearing elements. This innovation was radical and controversial. Many people feared the building would collapse under its own weight. Some even called it unsafe and unnatural. But the steel frame worked perfectly, proving that buildings no longer needed massive walls to grow taller. The structure was so strong that 2 additional floors were added later, something nearly impossible with older construction methods. The home insurance building changed everything. It allowed buildings to rise higher, use less material, and include larger windows that brought light into offices. Elevators, another American innovation perfected around the same time, suddenly became practical for tall buildings. Together, steel frames and elevators unlocked vertical cities. Although the home insurance building was demolished in 1931, its legacy lives on in every skyline across the United States. From New York to Chicago to Los Angeles, modern skyscrapers trace their origins back to this single experiment in engineering. What began as a solution to crowded city streets became a defining symbol of American ambition. The skyscraper represented progress, innovation, and confidence in technology. And it all started with one bold idea in Chicago, that buildings didn't need thicker walls, just stronger bones. That quiet revolution didn't just reshape cities, it reshaped the future of America itself.